Welcome into the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill and Pyramid Contractors. I'm Jimmy Allen. That is Casey Matthews. Creighton wins tonight, 92-69. Casey, the Jays flirt with a 100-burger yet again tonight. Another offensive onslaught by the Jays, and really a great defensive performance as well. This is the third straight game where they've really done so, and it just feels like the defense is operating at a much higher clip.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, there were some issues in the first half, but overall, I thought it was good. I mean, we gave up 34 points in the first half, 35 in the second. I mean, you're going to win games if you can do that, and so yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think when it comes to defense for me and this team, it's all going to be based on how well we guard the basketball, and in terms of our half-court defense, I felt like we did a good job turning their turnovers. They had 15 turnovers tonight, turning their turnovers into points. 28 points off turnovers tonight for us. And, we're not a team that gets a ton of steals. We had 11 steals tonight. And
it's clearly more than one guy. Like, it has to be more than one guy, right? But right now, Josh Dix just feels like his defensive prowess has jumped to another level. I mean, he just is always around the basketball. He's had a couple just fall right into his lap, but listen, sometimes that's just understanding where the ball is going to be and how they move the basketball and film study and things like that. I just feel like a lot of what we've seen specifically on the defensive side of the ball and arguably on the offensive side also, as far as this team making a jump over the last 2 to 3 games, it's kind of started with number 4 on the defensive side.
I agree. And I think Mitch did a really good job summing that up the other night, in that, Josh is being asked to guard the other team's best offensive player most of the time, unless it's their 5-man or their point guard, and then also come down and be a huge part of what we're doing offensively, and that can wear on you. And, I think we've seen that from a couple Creighton players over the last few years. I think Tyshawn Alexander is a great example of that. A guy who was expected to hit shots, expected to run the offense and do some really important things for us offensively, while also being a guy that every night was going to be asked to really lock in defensively as well. And I'm just telling you, that's very difficult to do because you're exerting so much energy on the defensive end. You really have to lock in and understand the game plan. Creighton is very specific and very scout-based in terms of what we do defensively. So it's really important that you know their sets, that you know their tendencies, while also executing the offensive game plan. And so, yeah, hats off to Josh, because I think he's done a phenomenal job. And really, I mean, admittedly for me, I don't think I even gave it enough respect until Mitch really called it out for us the other night and brought up, how good he's been. So,
Josh, I want to point out that I asked Mitch that question. So when you're watching the podcast back, because we know you do, just remember that I noticed it and I pointed.
Credit to you, Jimmy. I mean, you're definitely what do they say now? Ball knower.
I'm definitely that is what people refer to me as, ball knower Jimmy Allen. Austin Swartz with 19 points tonight, another absolutely fantastic offensive performance for Austin. 4 other Creighton Blue Jays end up in double digits, with Jason Green scoring 10, Josh Dix with 17, Isaac Trout with 13. I apologize. 4 other, and then Blake Harper had 9. I forgot his second or his last shot got waived. They said it was on the floor. So 4 players tonight. 4 of the starters actually score in double digits tonight, and an absolutely offensive onslaught by the Jays tonight. Casey, one thing that I think has been absolutely noticeable as well is the way the Jays are moving the basketball, and we've talked about this a ton with the other coaches. And Trey Ziegler is going to join us here shortly in a moment for the Sign Ovations Coach of the Night. But the way Creighton is moving the ball right now, and the way they're finding the one more. Even tonight, it kind of felt like they were passing the ball a little bit too much. They passed up a couple open shots, but there's clearly been an emphasis on trying to get the ball movement, getting those cuts and those angles worked, and making sure that we're coming out of those angles looking for a pass and not just always a shot as well.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think 23 assists tonight.
Yeah.
And, that to me is very clear. It's 23 assists, but it's also 34 made baskets. So when you're assisting at that high of a ratio, what that tells me, one is our sets are leading to good shots, which is a credit to Mac and a credit to the execution of the offense. But it tells me that guys are looking to make plays for other people. And also, I think you have to keep in mind for this game, we did score a little bit out of transition and points off turnovers. So that's an easy way a lot of times to pick up some assists. So, but the unselfishness to me offensively is the biggest difference now versus a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The offense is being ran now for each other instead of looking to score. It's looking to create an opportunity for our team to score. There is a huge difference in those two things. And what you're seeing is that's also showing up defensively as well. Like Mitch talked about, if you get beat defensively, it's not you that got beat defensively, it's us that got beat defensively.
Yep.
And I think it's really important that, when you always keep that in mind when you're watching this team play offense. When you're seeing the ball pop and seeing the ball move around the perimeter like that, and it's leading to open jump shots, that just tells you that the team is trusting the offense. It's trusting what they're trying to get done, and it's leading to really good jump shots. It looks like we got
Trey's joining us now. Yeah, sorry, I was gonna let you finish your thought. Casey's at home. He's too good to show up tonight, Trey. So
it's not. Listen, look, man.
I'll show you all the negative things he had to say about you.
Wow, this is a new setup. I like this.
You like this? Okay, so Creighton assistant coach Trey Ziegler now joining us here on the Side Ovation Coach of the Night.
Look at the swag this guy has. The throwback jacket with the hoodie underneath and the hat. It's unreal, man. It's good to see it, Trey.
I knew something was coming.
Coach, obviously 3 great performances. We were just talking about the way the defense has turned around more than the offense over the last couple of games. Obviously, Potter was going to get his. Holt was going to get his. Was the thought coming into this game, we'll just let those guys kind of operate and we'll make sure nobody else beats us?
Well, we were hoping for none of them to beat us, but
sure.
But no, yeah, we knew Hammond was a good player, and we were really worried about 66. He's really aggressive, and that was averaging 18 points going into the last 2 games. So overall, man, we thought this was the best team we played by wise throughout the non-conference.
Marquette, but
No. Just in our bye games, we felt like Utah Tech. Their size, they're kind of positionless. All those guys are interchangeable. They're big at 6'6". Hammond's good on the low post. So we were really worried going into this game, especially going into the Christmas break. So I'm really proud of our guys for coming out and giving effort. They gave us a little shot at the beginning, but I thought we responded.
I talked a little bit about at halftime, Trey, about games like this, and I wanted to save some of the discussion for you because not only from your coaching background, but also as a player, these games are trap games in a lot of ways because a lot of these guys are flying home tomorrow morning. Some of them probably driving home here within the next 30 minutes. It's easier said than done to just focus on the game and not think about going to see your friends, going to see your family. Some of these guys going to see their girlfriends, which, I know you never had that problem specifically, but that was a joke, Trey. But so you're a really good comedian when you got to tell somebody that was something.
No, I caught it. I just wasn't gonna laugh.
Yeah. Inside you were laughing, and I could see it. No, but in all seriousness, so like you're looking forward to that, and so then you see a Utah Tech, and for some of these guys, they genuinely might have been like, "Who is Utah Tech?" Right. So, can you talk about that as a player? Of like how important it is to just try to identify and to lock into like what your assignment is and not look past this opponent, especially coming from just playing Marquette. You got another conference game when you get back. Santa Claus is coming to town. There's just so much that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know because the music was playing so loud.
Oh, absolutely. It's very hard as a player. I would say even as a staff, you come off 2 highs where we had unbelievable start to our Big East play. So you come in and you got a Utah Tech team, like I said, that I think was the best bye game we had. And you're worried about our guys, especially being a young team. We're a very young team that's still finding our way, and we've had positive moments. So this was very much so a trap game. I said it to Mitch during one of the media, as much as we were worried about it, those guys over there are just as ready to be done. They had a huge win against Weber State 2 days ago, and then they get here and they got to play, a high major team right before Christmas. So on both ends, it's a hard game to play. And I thought we responded well. I thought our preparation in one day yesterday was pretty good. And then we had a good shoot around. So I thought our guys were still locked in all the way through.
Sorry for being on my phone. Some slacker posted the link tonight and didn't put any of the hashtags
Oh my
or
gosh,
tags
Casey.
on
See,
the
he's talking
show.
about our guys looking ahead.
Yeah,
He's looking ahead
exactly.
too.
He's already on Christmas break.
What are you talking about?
Can't show up in the building. Didn't put any of the tags on the post. It's all right. It's okay, Casey. I got it. Don't worry. Trey, I want to talk about managing expectations for this team. We talked a lot of, maybe not you guys, but a lot of us in the media were having the discussion. Is this a Final Four team? Is this the team to finally get to that point? The lull of the start of the season happens. We start talking about, is this a tournament team? And the last three games happen. Now, obviously, Marquette and Xavier have had their struggles, and then Utah Tech is
Right.
Utah Tech. But this team has looked different from the eyeball standpoint. In your opinion, what has the difference been in the locker room that's caused this turnaround?
I think, we had some adversity, obviously the Kansas State game, and going into that, the Nebraska game, you just have all this. I think the biggest thing that we take for granted is we have a lot of new. We got a lot of new guys, and as complex as our system is, as complex as it is, we always talk about how important retainment is, and we've had 9 new guys, and so just learning each other, and I think we've seen a more connected group. We had to go through some adversity, and a lot of it, some guys had to be challenged. And I think through that we've become more connected. I think the group understands what we want, as far as ball movement and get it moving and all those things. I think you see more of it. I think Kansas State was the start of it, and obviously we went on the road and we were able to take care of business. And even here at Marquette, I mean, you just see a different team, and I think the guys are buying into it.
Trey, with what I've seen is it seems as though the second half of the Kansas State game is really like it's almost like a switch was flipped from a mentality standpoint, and it's felt like for the most part Creighton has been the team on the court that's played the hardest in every half since then. And that's really interesting to me because the first half of Kansas State, it looked like Kansas State wanted it more. And then we came out in the second half, and it really did. It looked like the game mattered more to us than it did to them. What would you credit that to? And is there anybody internally? Because I have I don't know if suspicions are the right word, but my beliefs in terms of who that is. But is there anybody that you can point to that you're like, yeah, the mentality is different, and you credit maybe 1 or 2 guys? I know it's, I'm not saying we're not crediting anybody else, but there's always a catalyst to change.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming out of the Nebraska game, we were searching for answers and searching for how we can get things to flip. And I think the lineup change, obviously, I think what it did is it reset Nick Graves. I think it reset a few guys to understand what the expectation was as far as that. We're going to miss shots. We're going to have, rough moments, but the expectation of how hard we play. And I think our guys responded, man. I think Ty, obviously, his ability to move the ball and get that first unit going, and then also Austin Schwartz has played well as well. So I think that's helped. But I just think those guys that that were starting have really picked it up. I think Nick Graves, I can't say enough about the last 2 weeks. He has. I know you guys have seen it on the court, but it's everything he's doing off the court as well. He's getting the most shots up on the team in the last 2 weeks. So his effort and his buy-in, and then Owen as well they really have taken a step. I think Owen has played his best 3 games as well here.
Agreed. Talk to me about Nick for a second, because obviously we have the game, the 7-minute stretch where he goes off for 17 points on his own, had a 12-0 run on his own, and then goes quiet in that second half. Just has 6 points tonight, but has the assists, and you see him pointing and leading and directing. Is it a matter of guys like Josh, guys like Nick, guys like Austin are just finally getting comfortable in what you guys are asking them to do as well?
Absolutely. That's what I say. I mean, if you Casey was here for Baylor's first year, and then Stephen Ashworth took a half a season. Like, that first season in our system, it's tough. Not a lot of people play with us. Not people have a lot of attention to detail. We have our process. I mean, it's a complicated deal, and I think our fan base and us, even so, our staff, we kind of underestimate that, how much of a change it is for somebody, especially somebody that was somewhere for 3 years doing it a different way. So
Sure.
I think Nick has answered that, and I think even the other guys, I think Blake is starting to take steps to understand. I think Austin obviously is playing well on the court, but I look at Austin and Blake like they're freshmen. They were at programs for 1 year, and Austin had 2 head coaches in 1 year, and then Nick or Blake was at Howard. So at this level, I feel like they're freshmen, and so we have a lot of new, and I think you're starting to see it shine through a little bit.
I want to ask about that for a second too, because you talk about Josh and Owen playing together, but they're coming from a team that obviously didn't have a ton of success last year.
Right.
Austin, as you mentioned, had two head coaches because
Right.
they didn't have a ton of success last year. Has it taken a while for these guys to learn how to win and win the Creighton way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a culture thing. I think for us, we do things a certain way, and it's worked for a long time for us. And to come from those situations, and probably they weren't held accountable as much as they were here. And I'm not talking bad about any of those places, but the accountability and the attention to detail, like I said, I think it takes a while to get used to. And I've been here for 3 years now, and you watch different guys come and go and transfers, and like I bring up Ashworth and Baylor, like those guys struggle. Like Ashworth, me and him used to joke about it that first year. At the end of the game, Farabella was finishing games for us. And so he had to find his way. Baylor kind of in the continuity. He played well at the beginning, then he had a low going into Big East, and then he kind of found his way towards the end. So I think it takes a while. It takes a while, and I think we in Jemiah Neal, I think a lot of people were critical of Jemiah, and then he turned the page. So we just have to continue to build. And I think I always point to that group that were freshmen, Nimhard, Art, and Trey that year, their ability to grow throughout the year, and then they end up being an NCAA tournament team. So hopefully we can continue to grow and just continue to build game by game.
It's funny you bring those guys up. I was actually in Orlando, Trey, at the G League deal, and I saw those guys, saw Trey and Art and Steve, and I got a chance to sit with them and with Steven specifically, and I was asking him, because he's a hoop head. He watches our games, and I'm sure he's a loyal listener to the Roll Jays podcast. But we were talking about the offense, and
yes, sir, Cat. I hope he is watching.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. But we were talking about the offense. We were talking about Nick specifically because it's such an easy comparison. And he said something that was really interesting, is that a lot of times guys come from, like, if they're going to transfer, they come from offenses where there's not so many options, there's not so many reads to make. And so it can be tricky because you're not only like in this offense, you have freedom to shoot, which is an entirely different wrinkle that not a lot of point guards get. So you have that. You also have, hopefully the lob threat. And then you also have the offense in terms of throwbacks and skips.
Right.
You're reading taggers. Like you're asked to do more as a point guard in this offense than in most. And so sometimes it takes time to learn it, but also like to not just see a little bit of daylight and take the shot because you've been told just shoot it, if you're open. So it was really interesting analysis, I thought, for him. And to kind of be able to identify maybe some of what Nick was struggling with. We've talked since he's been moved to this new role coming off the bench. I think it's just taken a lot of pressure off of him and just said, okay, like you use the word reset. It's like, okay, look, like the expectations of me right now are different. And so now let me just go star in my role. Let me just do what's being asked. The pressure's kind of off in a way. And eventually, like I believe he can earn that back if it's something that you guys feel like would benefit the team. But as long as you're rolling with Ty, who cares? Like he's still playing probably more minutes, getting more shots. He's still as big of a role. How do you think as a player, like the mentality shift to not allow your confidence to be tanked, to use it as an opportunity, like you said, to get the most shots up of anybody on the team? Like, how do you make that shift?
Well, first of all, you got to play with a chip on your shoulder. And I think that's what Nick has really done. I think it's easy to get caught up in all the moving pieces. And I think Nick has decided I'm going to focus on me and being better and trying to do what the coaching staff is asking. But it's still hard. I mean, honestly, any kid, you think Nick Graves, he didn't come here to come off the bench in his mind. So, he's still dealing with that factor. And at the same time, he's still being a team player. And I think that speaks highly of his character. But like you talked about, I want to speak on is it's so much to process as the point guard. You got a lot to process and a lot you got to be held accountable for. And I think, like you said, maybe this has helped him reset and the game slow down. You get to watch it for at least to the first media and see how the game's even flowing. And I think that's a huge advantage. So, and as long as we stay with this lineup, I think, Nick can take advantage of that. And hopefully, we don't know. It's game to game. But I think as long as we have success, like you said, we'll just keep figuring it out.
Yeah.
obviously Butler's next, but you get a little bit of a layoff. There's a little bit of a holiday, and as well as you just mentioned. How much we know this coaching staff watches games ahead. All of you are just workaholics. How much have you been able to study the Bulldogs? How much are you looking forward to that matchup?
I have not done anything with my Bucks.
Mac, we hope you're not watching.
I don't think anybody on our staff is, so I don't feel guilty. But over this break, we got a couple days to reset. Everybody does. Very needed. Okay. Very needed. So
video coordinators definitely worked ahead. I just want to point that out. But
they don't even have one of those. There's 96 guys on staff.
Julian Berry. Shout out to Julian.
Berry.
And I'll say I think this is probably Murph's scout because Nez had this one, so he's probably worked ahead. But no, but for sure,
I'm just kidding.
I'll we'll all take 2 or 3 days, and then by Christmas you will come back and start watching Butler. And I think we'll practice the night of the 26th, and I bet 27th, 28th we'll get into the Butler prep. So it'll be a quick break, but it'll be good to reset.
What was that like, Trey, as a player when you'd go home for Christmas? Were you able to like mentally kind of like detach?
You take a breath and then you're like, man, I gotta go back.
You get to go back. You get to go back.
Yeah, sometimes you think like that, but yeah, these guys are probably it's hard because all the other students are still on break, so they're coming back and we don't have any limitations on practice and so it's the Christmas break is very hard on our guys because it's as much of it as a break from school, you're working probably even harder.
Best time of the year though for a staff though. I know that.
Oh yeah, it's way different.
Early practices, you're home earlier. It's
no, it's a good time.
Well, we'll let Coach get home. We'll let all of you get home. We appreciate that joined us tonight. Obviously, Casey Matthews was too good to do that, but we won't hold that against.
Look, man, we got Christmas traditions around here. Like I got,
Hey, Case, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Tell Murph stop scheduling games on the 22nd, man.
Hey man, we know you wanted to take your break early. It's fine. We'll stay here and work, and you stay home.
God, take a lot of shots tonight.
One of us works on this thing. Can you tell who it is?
You know what? Yeah, you will not be receiving my Christmas text this year, Trey.
All right, guys. James podcast brought to you by Pepper Jack's Grill and Pyramid Contractors. Creighton wins tonight. We'll get a little bit of a break as well. We'll see you for the Butler game that we've all watched ahead. We won't hold it against Trey though. But Creighton says Coach Trey, you've been joining us tonight. Happy holidays, my friend. Thanks.
All right, happy holidays, man.
That's gonna do it for us here tonight. Creighton wins big over Utah Tech. They win 92-69. We appreciate watching. Don't forget to go like and subscribe to Big East Energy. We'll see you next time.
Why you need to try Pepper Jack's Grill, the best Philly cheesesteak in America. At Pepper Jack's Grill, we craft your Philly just the way you like it. Fresh ingredients, sizzling on the grill, and endless customization options. Not just Phillies, we've got rice bowls, burritos, nachos, and even vegetarian choices. And don't forget those crispy fries with our famous spicy ranch. With 10 great locations in Omaha, there's a delicious meal waiting for everyone in the family. Pepper Jack's Grill, your Philly, your way.
Heads up, it's
At Pyramid Contractors, we do it all. From repairing or replacing your roof to updating siding, windows, or gutters. When you have a home improvement project, call Pyramid Contractors.